Just remember, you are a luxury. Access to you is a luxury. It is a privilege. And in the same way that not everybody can afford or have access to luxury goods, not everybody can afford and have access to you. Not everybody deserves access to you, the privilege of having you in their lives, the privilege of your attention and your energy. If you know your worth, why are you letting people that do not deserve you have access to you? As a friend, as a partner, in any capacity, having you and your attention is a luxury. It's a privilege. Anybody in your life should be grateful and should treat you with the same love, respect, and consideration that you treat them with. If they're not on your level, they are not matching your energy. They do not deserve to have access to you. Remember, your attention, your energy is currency. It is powerful. Don't give it to them. And don't let everybody have access to you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, thank you, and keep it moving. It's okay not to give them your attention. If they can't appreciate you, they shouldn't have access to you. You are a luxury. You are a luxury person. Start acting like it.
Hi guys, welcome back to Clare's Archives. Today we are talking about protecting your energy like it's currency, because it is. Having access to you is a privilege. People being able to be in the same room as you, to speak to you, to benefit from you is a privilege. So we need to start acting like that. Today's complication of videos is just about how to set boundaries, how to stay exclusive with yourself, with your energy, because not everyone deserves access to you. You are literally one of one. You are one in a million. You are a star in a world full of darkness, and never forget that. So this video is just going to remind you to keep pouring into yourself and to reject access to people that don't know how to value you, and just to continue protecting your peace of mind. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
See, people seem to think that Blair Waldorf was a mean girl. Blair Waldorf was not a mean girl. Blair Waldorf had boundaries and standards. And she wasn't anybody's friend. You had to earn the right to be Blair's friend. She wasn't going to just let anybody into her inner circle or be around her, because she was a boss-ass bitch. She knew exactly what she wanted out of life. She knew exactly where she wanted to go. She always had a schedule. She was like, I got shit to do. I can't just be wasting my life. Serena was a fucking mess. Honestly, that could have been Blair's downfall, was being friends with a bitch like Serena. And she knew it every time. And time again, Serena just kept playing in that girl's face, and she just kept forgiving her, because she was just like, damn, bitch, all I got is you and my mean ass mom. I love Blair. Love her down.
Why do people get so offended when you remove yourself? You did what you did, and I didn't like it, so I left. Get over it.
Your biggest flex is immediately removing access to you. People can no longer access your healing, kind, generous, silly, loving heart and soul and brain anymore. Their access has been revoked. Their privileges have been revoked. And you don't owe anybody an explanation. Once you remove the access and you realize how powerful having that kind of connection to you is, you will learn to value yourself and the energy, time, effort, love that you bring into anybody who is in your ecosystem.
And sometimes you're the villain in other people's stories because you would not allow yourself to become their victim.
I am so grateful that I have made it to the age of 54. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, my biggest flex is that I know how to protect my peace. You have to stop explaining, stop apologizing, and protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because honestly, it does. You do not have to attend every argument you're invited to. If you constantly feel drained after talking to them, that's your sign. People who get mad at the boundaries you've set are the reason that you need them. If they bring drama, let them perform without an audience. Your boundaries do not need approval to exist. Some people only check on you to see if they still have access. You're allowed to outgrow people who refuse to grow. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You don't have to fix everything. Some things just need to be left broken. Not everything deserves closure. Some things just need to end. And you can love someone and still lock the door behind them when they leave. Hope that helps.
If you go and tell someone in your life that someone has hurt you so deeply, that this person has mistreated you, and your friend or your loved one, whoever you tell this to, goes and seeks out a friendship or relationship with that person, despite what you just told them, they are actively choosing that relationship with them over yours. They are prioritizing that relationship with them over yours. And I know that sucks to hear, it sucks to see, but you know what else also sucks? Having someone in your life that would do that to you. Continuing a friendship or relationship with someone that would do that to you. I'm so over this. Well, they didn't do anything to me. Okay, well, they did something to me. And if I was an important person in your life that you cared about, that would piss you off. It would piss you off that someone treated me like that.
Ladies, here are 3 charming things to say to get out of answering intrusive questions. I like to call it acknowledging without answering. So for example, say he asks something like, what do you like in bed? You say, are you wearing a wire? He's going to be confused and be like, what? Like, I'm not wearing a wire. To which you say, you're trying to have me compromised, aren't you? So the second one, so he asks the question. You can say, that is the question. What's your answer? Again, flipping it back on him. The attention is power. So when a guy asks you questions that you don't really want to answer, it puts the attention on you and kind of pressure for you to answer. And a way to just revert that is to make it about you. So using you statements. And get his response before you give yours. Now this third one is my absolute favorite. Objection. Relevance. And this is a response that I've gotten. So he says, Your Honor, please note my message was sent on Thursday. It is now Sunday. We should inquire of her whereabouts. Okay. I say, objection, relevance. This calls for speculation. Gonna ask that the jury dismisses the statement. Then he's like, can we call for a recess, Your Honor? It's clear we need some order in here. Probably should cuff her up. To which I say, I can't be behind bars again. You should have taken me to dinner because now I'm taking you to jail. We could have handled this like adults. The right one is gonna match your energy on that one. So be mysterious, be a pain in the ass, and give them nothing.
You continue to be a generous friend and be a blessing to others over and over and over again without being completely depleted, used, and abused. Black people, listen up, please. Children of immigrants, first generation specifically, and even mothers. Yes, this is overstepping because I ain't a mother. I've never raised children, but I've been a child myself. And I understand how parents think, and I've been around enough parents as they've gotten older and when they start reflecting on things. I know that this goes against everything that women are taught. We're supposed to be selfless. We're supposed to give everybody our last, first, and middle all the time, unconditionally, no questions asked, even if this person wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. That's what we're taught. That's how we're raised, especially African women. But let me tell you something. As I get older, the more that I understand that too much of anything is not good for anybody. If you are consistently depleting and running yourself dry for the benefit of other people, you are going to have absolutely nothing left. You're actually less of an impact because you're doing more for less people. And oftentimes these are people who, whether they want to admit it or not, are probably going to eventually take advantage of you. Think of it like this. Water is good for you, right? But even too much water can poison you. I figured out a long time ago that if I keep showing up for people and not checking in and prioritizing myself to some extent, I'm gonna start getting mad at and lashing out at those people. But here's the thing though, it's not their fault. What we know about humans is one thing they're gonna do, put their damn selves first. Even the most well-meaning of people, I mean amazing, upstanding people, are fully capable of taking advantage of the people that they love. And sometimes they don't even do it without realizing it until they're kind of clocked, you know what I mean? Until you tell them all right, not too much now. And then they're like, yeah, my bad, you're right. Think of athletes, the ones that don't really come from very much and end up being the first and in many cases the only in their family. And everybody in the family is pretty much surviving off of that one person. Unfortunately, in Black community, you have the Black tax. So it's kind of you pay your dues and make sure we're all straight. And there's fundamentally nothing wrong with that. But eventually, if you give too much to too many people, they're not gonna learn the ways to survive without you. That's a really scary predicament to be in. If everybody's relying on you versus being taught the skills to how to replicate what you've done and replicate your level of generosity and showing up for people, if it runs out, it crumbles. The entire structure crumbles. And no matter how awful it feels, saying no sometimes, drawing boundaries, people will call you selfish, especially people who get really comfortable with that level of you always showing up for them because you always did it before. Sometimes, not always. The one time you don't, they're gonna call you selfish. Or they may not say it, but they may think it. And also when you get to the point that you're depleted, parents, I'm now talking to you, your ability ability to keep your children alive is not a debt that they owe to you, that they have to repay for the rest of their lives. I wish I was taught healthier ways to prioritize myself through life and not be stingy and selfish. That's not what I'm talking about. These are very different conversations. I want to see more Black parents teach healthy ways to raise their children without them getting lost in themselves. Not, I'd sacrifice the world for you. Okay, thank you. But surely there could have been other ways. I just wish there was a balance, because when you sacrifice quite literally everything for people, it's really difficult not somehow feel a way about it, which rightfully so, because people are just going to keep taking if you keep giving to them. You have to be the person that says, actually, no, actually, it's my turn now. And if I want to keep things for me, then what are you going to do about it? I'm really intentional on building community. The way that I managed to do that is by finding a good balance of not overdoing it and underdoing it. Continuously being a generous person that shows up for the right people. If I really see somebody struggling and I'm in community with them, or this is a person who's supported me in other ways, these don't always have to be tangible ways. People can support you in more ways than one. Even people who've done nothing for me, ask me for something or a favor, I can say, you've been there before, even in ways that you didn't even realize. Of course, I got you. Then maybe after the second or third time saying, not this time, babe, once or twice, and not the second or third. Friendships and relationships are all about balance. The person who's doing the overextending, I think you're kind of responsible. I take full responsibility for the times where I've helped people that I had no business helping. The ones that now call me selfish, stingy, everything but a child of God. I take full responsibility. Overextending in relationships that were dead a long time ago. Like, baby, that's your L to take, not theirs. I'm very giving. I'm very generous. I'm a Leo. That's like second nature for us. It's just what we do. Anyone who says I'm the opposite of any of those things are just mad they couldn't use me. They just mad that I clocked them for who they are and they could not use me and they hate it. Or oftentimes they're the people that they got what they wanted out of me and then I eventually said no. And now they're salty. Oh well. And because of my personality type, I'm typically like a misunderstood person. But then maturing is kind of realizing I don't want to be understood by everybody. If I was understood and liked by everybody, I would literally just be a resource for them and nothing else. No, thank you. Not interested. Save your gifts for people who deserve them. Save your efforts for them people so you don't gotta wake up one day and be like, damn, I gave everybody else every part of me. Unless you save some part of yourself. You gain nothing but an inflated ego by acting like that. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, people be doing that kind of stuff so they can say they did it, but then look at where it got you. Nowhere. Also, don't overlook friendships in unlikely places. Like maybe this is a person who's not integrated in your friend group or doesn't go to your school or doesn't work with you at your job, but they always be there. That person may be outside of your friend group or your network, but it doesn't necessarily mean you still can't build a friendship with them, you know, or a relationship. One more thing to think about, and this is really hard to do, when someone's asking you for something, consider what you're going through in the moment. Are they considering you at all? If not, it's probably not the time to be overly generous. Like someone's asking you for your last $30 and you do know that you need that $30 to eat for the rest of the week. You ain't got it, mama. People who think, oh, she got it, I'm gonna just ask her because I can, because I know she got it. Those are not the people you need to be in community with. Those are the people you're gonna eventually be like, why did I later? But the signs were there. The signs were there. You got to put on your oxygen mask before you help others. Hey, I'm just saying the quiet part out loud, okay? Like I would love to get on here and be like, I give everybody everything all the time. But in 20 years, I'm going to be walking around resentful. And I don't want that for me. And I don't want that for you either. So clean it up. And you know what? It's not about being selfish, despite the fact that most humans on average are a little bit teensy bit selfish. It's just, you know, only considered selfish when the generous person becomes that way. Or of course, women, obviously, duh. It ain't selfish. It's resourceful. You want to be successful, if you want to replicate it and actually be useful for as long as possible, learn these things. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you learn anything from me, putting yourself first, or you end up right back where people want you.
I'm 9 years old, and if there is any advice that I can give anybody in their 20s, it's learn how to be a bitch early on. I love being a bitch. And when I say that, I don't mean that I love being mean to people. I don't mean that I love hurting people's feelings. That's not what I mean. I mean I love doing things that make other people who are emotionally undeveloped call me a bitch. Saying no and not giving a reason for saying no. Using punctuation at the end of my sentences in professional emails instead of smiley faces or exclamation points. I love going into a store and instead of saying sorry, I say excuse me and I get on by. I love not apologizing for taking up space, showing my true emotions, good or bad. Be a bitch. Be a bitch. Learn how to be a bitch as early as you possibly can. Because by the time you're my age, it will have done you worlds of good.
I love me so much that I cut off anybody who interferes with that relationship. And that really is the reason why a lot of people don't fuck with me. It's something about not being willing to compromise on who you are. There's something about being so assured of who you are. There's something about really standing firm in who you are that repels folks from wanting to be around you. I will not be moved. I will not be buzzed. And there's nothing about me that's getting ready to change. If you can't stand who I am, please don't stand beside me. If you cannot tolerate the way that I show up, when I show up, please show out. I'm so in love with me, I have to cut off anybody that tries to interfere with that relationship because I worked so hard to get close to me. I worked so hard to be connected to me. I worked so hard to be in love with me. I worked so hard to be proud of me. Anybody that's trying to mess up that hard work, trust and believe me, you out of here.
I'm just gonna say this. When somebody do something you don't like, your best response is nothing. People are expecting a reaction out of you, which is why they do the things that they do. Because if you do nothing and you control your emotions, that's going to piss them off. That's equivalent to pissing somebody off with kindness. People don't like when people don't have no reaction. Not everything deserves a reaction, and that's something that I also had to learn. Sometimes the best thing you can do in a situation is be mute. Say, okay. I understand. Got it. You don't gotta type these long paragraphs to get your point across. You can get your point across with one word. Okay. We have to stop giving energy to people that don't deserve it. Next time you and that man get into it, just say okay. I promise. I promise he gonna be wondering what happened. And gonna be questioning the fact why you not upset. Once you learn to take control over your emotions, I promise you ain't gonna have no problems.